Hello, my name is Sue Lewis, and I'm going to be taking you through the session today. So this session is specifically for Year 11 students, and it's for schools that are offering the Pathway Planner. And in this session, I'm going to talk about how you can get ready for post-16 options, and right at the end, you will complete something called the Pathway Planner that I'll explain as we go through. So first of all, just in the context of careers, everybody needs to be able to manage their careers right through life. And there are 6 things that we all need to develop the ability to do in order to manage our careers. So in this lesson today, we're going to focus on 2 of these. One is called Seeing the Big Picture. And as part of this lesson, it'll be an opportunity to look at your post-16 choices and see how they fit with future jobs and your personal career. And to manage careers, it'll be an opportunity for you to start planning the pathway that you're thinking of doing in the future. So the lesson will work roughly like this. There'll be an introduction about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you'll get to do some career pilot activities. Then you'll complete the pathway planner in the last 10 minutes. But I'll run you through all this as we do it. But first of all, the great news is that you've won the lottery. And the prize that you've won is, you've won a holiday to one of these places. So have a think about which one you would choose. Would it be Barbados, Australia, South Africa, Belgium, or England? So keep that in mind. Which one of these have you chosen? But hold on a minute. I've just found out a little bit more information. In Barbados, you're packing bananas. In Australia, you're sheep shearing. In South Africa, you're picking grapes. In Belgium, you're testing chocolate. And in England, you've got free Glastonbury tickets. So now that you have a bit more information about each of these, maybe you're changing your mind. So put your hand up if you've changed your mind since you found out a little bit more about each of the places. Okay, so what this is trying to show is, just like careers, you need the information before you decide. So that's why it's really useful to try to find out all the different pathway choices, see which one suits you before you make a final decision. So that's what we're going to focus on a bit today. What's a career? So a career is an individual journey through life, learning and work. Imagine like it's a big, the yellow brick road, a sort of snake type shape that's taking you right through life. And along the way, you're going to pick up lots of jobs, and that's going to be the way you earn your money. And there's loads of job sectors you could work in, from finance to art and design, working with animals, and you might switch from one to another as well. So in terms of you being Year 11 students, the big things to think about in terms of your careers are, what am I going to choose at the end of Year 11? What pathway am I going to do? And obviously a big focus for this year is your GCSEs, your BTECs, or other exams you might be doing, and trying to get the best grades you can possibly get. You also need to know where the future jobs are going to be, because you kind of, want to line yourself up to go into a job area that's going to grow. There's got lots of opportunities. So there will be other sectors, but I'm just mentioning 4 that we know are going to grow. Medical, health, science and care, IT and digital technology, engineering and construction, and then the big driver for lots of jobs is environmental, green jobs. Loads and loads of jobs that are more green than they ever were before as you try to deal with environmental issues. So knowing all about the jobs this is all labour market information. So the more you know about that, the more you can kind of line yourself up for where the opportunities will be in the future. So there's a lot of things about careers. There's the pathways, the jobs, what courses you might do. And it is quite hard to know where to get started. So this video kind of shows you things you could be doing right now to manage your career. So let's just watch this video.
Imagine your life in 10 years' time. Are you being driven to work in your electric car? Eating meatless burgers for lunch with robots cleaning your home? Technology is changing jobs. In 10 years, there'll be lots of new jobs, while others will change or simply disappear. You're likely to be in work for 50 years and have at least 10 different jobs by the time you're 42. Seem like a long way off? A happy future starts with some of the decisions you take in the next few years. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Firstly, know yourself. You are unique. You have likes, dislikes, strengths, qualities, and things you value that are important to you. These things can help you identify a future career. You have skills too, from school, hobbies, work, or volunteering. Imagine you are learning something new, like photography or rock climbing. You will use a range of different skills. Many of these are transferable, skills that you can take from one job to another. Employers love these. The second thing you can do is do stuff. Trying out new stuff makes you feel good about yourself and builds transferable skills. For example, you may or may not pass your driving test first time. It doesn't matter. Learning new things develops transferable skills and increases your ability to bounce back and keep trying. That's called resilience. Skills can lead to part-time jobs, useful cash, and jobs in the future. You can also talk about these skills on job applications and in interviews. So you know what you like and you're good at. You're trying new things and building skills and experiences. What else can you do? The third thing you can do is to make sure you know all your options. Do you know what qualification and grades you need? Will the course or training help you on your journey? Which option would be best for you? And if your plan A looks watertight, always have a plan B and even a plan C just in case. The fourth thing is to make sure you use your supporters. Teachers, family, friends and coaches know you well. They'll help you identify your strengths, skills and interests and help you on your way. If you can, grab a chance to talk to a careers advisor. You'll get individual help with your plan. They're professionally trained and have loads of up-to-date information. They'll listen to you, inspire you and help you create a plan for the future. And there's Career Pilot too. A free website with all the careers information in one place, showing you all your options, including information on jobs, courses and lots more. Use the career tools to find out more about you and save all of this in one place to share with your supporters. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Know yourself. Do stuff and develop your skills. Make sure you know all your options. Use your supporters. Your future starts now. Get ready.
Great. So hopefully you have got some ideas. Let's pull that off. Of some of the things you can do right now to manage your careers. We're going to talk a little bit more about what else might be there to help you. So on the video, I talked about Career Pilot. And just to explain, Career Pilot is a free access careers website that you can be using, and how you get there is by going to careerpilot.org.uk, and this is the Career Pilot homepage. Just to show you around quickly, all our popular tools in this little light blue bar, lots of information about different jobs and how to get into them, and lots of video stories of people talking about jobs and courses and lots more. Then we've got what we call our three-stage process, and this is what you can follow every time you make a career decision. Start with you, explore your options, plan your next steps, and some of those things we mentioned in the video. But you could also look at a particular pathway you're already thinking about, get information and advice. So in this session today, we're going to be using Career Pilot so you can explore your next stage pathways. So in terms of the video, know yourself, we've got a whole section called Start With You. And when you go to that today, you can actually choose some of the activities that are going to help you think about your next stage. You could do a job quiz and see what job sectors might suit you. Start with a subject or a value you love and see where that might lead. The skills profile is really useful for building up a bank of skills you've already got. You could talk about in applications, and you can plan your qualifications on a ladder. What GCSEs am I going to get and where am I going to go in the future? So you'll do some of those activities soon. terms of doing stuff, then obviously your prime responsibility this year is getting as good GCSEs or BTECs as you possibly can, but don't drop all those really useful other things, because these are things you can use when you're talking about yourself on CVs. Explore your options. We've got a whole section called Explore Your Options, so we'll be going into that a bit later, so you can have a look at different pathways or have a look by job or whatever you want to do. And that's the big focus of today's session, really. And then the fourth thing mentioned in the video is about your supporters. And there'll be loads of people who want to support you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And Career Pilot will be there until you're 20. Your account will be operational till you're 20. So you can use it whenever you need to make a career decision. Okay, so what we're going to drill down to now is more about that, knowing your different options. And the different ways to get to the same place. Sometimes you can go through different directions, but this model is really of the different qualifications we have in England. They start from level 1 and they actually go all the way up to level 8. So at the moment you're at level 1 or 2, depending on what GCSEs you get. If you get 5 GCSEs, grade 4 to 9, you'll have a level 2 qualification, and you could think of applying for level 3. If you get a level 1, then you think about applying for level 2. There are 3 main pathways: academic, you probably heard a lot about, GCSEs, then A levels, then degrees. Vocational, so this is where you're on a course that's linked to a job area like business, health and social care. So you do a combination of being in the classroom with some work experience. So they're things like BTECs, they're called, OCRs. You can progress right up to degree level through the vocational pathway, or you could go off into the degree pathway at level 4. So you could do vocational level 3 and then go and do a degree level 4, 5 and 6 are degree levels. 6 is when you get it. So it's about 3 years of study. The other pathway is work-based. So this is like an apprenticeship. You've been trained to do a job and employed by a company. And there's different levels, but they go all the way up to degree level as well. Okay, so that was a quick overview of all the qualifications we have, but what we want to do is drill down to what you have got a choice of at the end of year 11. Some of the things you need to think about is like, what grades am I going to get, particularly for GCSE English and Maths, because if you don't get a grade 4 or above, you have to keep trying them, whether you're at a college or a school, until you do get that. Think about how you like to study. Do I like to look intensely at a particular subject, or do I like to do stuff? Because that can influence the choices you make. Some people start with the job they want to do and look at how you get to that job, but other people do the other way. They love a subject, they stick with a subject, and they choose a job later. And both those ways are fine. Just bear in mind there's lots of different ways to get into the same future job. To become a nurse, you could do it through the apprenticeship pathway or the degree pathway, and there's loads of examples of that. So let's drill down to some of those pathways that you are going to be choosing at the end of year 11. Let's start with the vocational pathway. So this is where you're doing a course that's related to a job area. There's general courses, so maybe health and social care, business, and you'll learn a bit about all that sector. But then there's specific vocational qualifications like tech levels, which are fairly new, T levels, some people call them, where you're being trained to do a specific job. So you need to know whether that is a job for you. So a lot of these vocational courses are available in colleges. Some schools offer them as well, but there'd be a bigger choice at a local college. Just be aware that if you're thinking I'll do A levels at a college, some colleges don't offer that, but all colleges will offer resits for maths and English alongside whatever course you're doing at the college, as does school as well. If you want to go on to a level 3 vocational course, then often the entry requirements will be 4 GCSEs at grade 4 and above. But you could start at all sorts of other levels. College will have level 1, level 2, level 3, and also degree level courses, which are in those vocational pathways. And here's a few examples. You can see that about a sector: animal care and management, accounts, health and social care, plumbing. So they're going to train you to understand that sector, or specifically for one particular job in that sector. The other pathway I mentioned a bit was T levels. I just want to talk a bit more about those because they're fairly new. They've only been going a few years. They're often mostly offered through colleges. And again, it's training you to do a specific job. And the way it sort of divides up, it'll do about 80% of learning in the classroom or in a kind of simulation room, where there's particular machines and things you would need to learn about for that job. And about 20% you'll actually be in employment doing like a work experience about that specific job. They are quite meaty. They're level 3 and they're equivalent to doing 3 A levels. So you can imagine there's quite a lot to do and it's going to be quite an intense course. So it's really going to train you to do a specific job. But you do need to know that's the job you want to do because there'll be certain sort of areas like building, services, engineering for construction, but then there'll be particular jobs within it like installation electrician, and that is a job you're going to be trained to do. So you need to know that about that job if you're making a decision to do the T levels. But check out with your local college because definitely T levels are being developed and are now available. So that was vocational. Let's mention work-based. You might already know quite a bit about the apprenticeship pathway. So the good thing about an apprenticeship is that you're going to be employed by an employer. You're going to be working there like the other workers, but you're going to be training to do the job at the same time. And because of that, you'll get paid a basic amount of money. So the basic is £194.45 if you do a 37-hour week. But some employers pay even more. You're going to learn by doing the job. So you're going to be working alongside other people who do that job all the time. Just like a job, you do need to find one. So finding a vacancy with an employer who wants to train you to be an apprentice. And you'll spend probably 4 days with the employer and probably 1 day in a college. So it's completely opposite to the T levels, where you spend about 20% of your time in employment and the rest in the college. You'll need to think about what level of apprenticeship you want to apply for. If you've got level 2 from your GCSEs, you could think about level 3. But do be aware, because apprenticeships are very specific about a job, your GCSEs might not have prepared you specifically for that job. So sometimes everybody needs to start at level 2. Just depends. You'd have to check that out with whoever's offering the apprenticeship. But you can probably going to be thinking about level 2 or level 3, and you can see they last different times. And there's lots of information on Career Pilot about how you find an apprenticeship. Then the pathway you probably know most about is that academic pathway where you go on to do A levels. Most schools offer these, some colleges, not so many of the colleges. They often expect you to have a grade 6 in the A level you want to study, but every school is different, so you have to check that out. Some students start with 4 and then drop one, but some students start with 3 and stick with 3. So again, you have to ask your school what options there are. It can be a subject to do a chance to do a subject you haven't that wasn't available, GCSEs, like psychology, law, criminology. So that could give more interesting opportunities. After A levels, you could go to higher education, but you could also go onto an apprenticeship. And be aware too that from the vocational pathway you can go into university, and also there's some apprenticeships that take you straight to university as part of that apprenticeship training scheme and give you a higher or degree apprenticeship. So that's why you can move from one to the other. So sorry, I know that was a lot of information. So what I want you to do now is have a little hands-on experience of using Career Pilot and doing some of the activities that you think would be useful to you. So what we're going to do in a minute, number one, you're going to get registered if you've not done that before, or get signed in. You can do some activities from Start With You, some of the things you'd find useful. You're going to go to qualifications and chart where you are now, what you think you're going to get from your GCSEs, and actually chart up the ladder what you'd like to do next. And then you can add your qualifications in. I'll show you that in a minute. And then you're going to explore some of the things in the Explore Your Options section. You can look at the different routes to 16 and get a bit more information about them. So to do this, you're going to be going to careerpilot.org.uk. You're going to have about 20 minutes to do this activity. So I'm just going to show you quickly how you get registered. So you go to the home page, so we're at careerpilot.org.uk. If you've never registered before, click on register. If you have registered before, then click on sign in. And if you've forgotten your password, just do forgotten password. Why are you signing in? It's because if you are signed in when you're using CareerPal, you get access to all the career tools, you can save all your quiz results or anything else you're interested in, and that'll create your report. And you own this account until you're 20, so it can help you making all sorts of future career decisions. As I said, if you have registered before, don't register again, just sign in. Use forgotten password. You have to know what email address you used when you first registered, because that's where your password is going to be sent if you have to do that. So the reason for using the career tools is, as I said, you're going to save all the different things you particularly like. And the way you do that, in the top right of just about every page, is the option to add. So this is a job, so that'll be popped into my job sectors and in my main report. I can go back later and get rid of anything I'm not interested anymore, but it'll all be there for me to reflect back on. I can download this and share with somebody else as well. So we do want you to think about which qualifications you're going to get as a result of your GCSEs. So you can tag what you think. There's different choices. So you could say, I've done this, I'm doing this, I'm considering this. You can plot your route right up to level 8. As soon as you've actually tagged things here in my qualifications, you can add your specific subjects you're doing and any predicted grades you might know about. It's quite useful to know that, because some options are going to be affected by the grades you're going to get for GCSEs. But do bear in mind, you've still got plenty of time to get even better results if you put the work in. Okay, so just a summary again of what we're going to do. Get registered, do some activities and start with you, add your qualifications, do some activities and explore your options. And I would suggest you look at choices 16 if you need a reminder, and look at jobs to see what qualifications you need to get into what you're interested in. So careerpilot.org.uk, and follow these 4 things through, and you've got about 20 minutes. If you're the teacher, you can pause this video now. You need about 12 minutes at the end of this session to do the pathway planner and round up. So if you could just make sure the time is available to do those things, then you could switch this video back on when you're ready. Great. So hopefully you had a chance to run through those activities and you feel like you know a little bit more about yourself maybe, and also your choices. So what we're going to do now is move on to do something else called the Pathway Planner. So this is a great way to find out how ready you are for the options you're beginning to think about doing. So in a minute, you're going to go to My Pathway Planner in the Career Tools. And this is going to give you a chance to say, these are the pathways I'm thinking of, and then to see how ready you are for those pathways. So let me just explain how that works. When you click on My Pathway Planner, it'll show you what pathways you can choose, the ones we've been talking about. So you could say, I'm interested in A-levels, or apprenticeships, or vocational. And you could put definite or considering. And you have to have an answer for each of the options. Anything you say definite considering, you'll be asked to do a short quiz to see how ready you are for that particular pathway. So this one's for the apprenticeship pathway, so it's going to ask me questions like, do I know about it? Do I know what's involved? What grades might I need? And just answer as honestly as possible, because this is going to help you to see what you need to do, but it's going to help your teachers to see how they can help you. So you can get careers session, and that person can help you to understand these things, so you are really ready for that pathway. What you'll get is a red, amber, green score for anything you're definite or considering. You could have a little look around the side and go back and edit your responses. But what will happen with this information is that your careers team will be looking at this to see what help they can offer you. And then they'll set up a guidance session for you. So you'll be sent a time. Don't forget to turn up. It's going to be really useful support for you. So you've got about 10 minutes now to complete the pathway planner. It might not even take that long. So if you're the teacher now, you need about 2 minutes at the end just to do a wrap up, and then the students can get on now with doing the pathway planner. Good. Hopefully you got to that point of having your red, amber, green rating. And as we said, at any time in the future, if you've learnt more, you can go in and edit your answers. But what we're going to be doing now is making sure you get some career support for the things you're not too sure about at this point. So we're almost at the end of the lesson. So as I said at the beginning, there's 6 things we all need to learn how to do in order to manage our careers. We focused on 2 today. One was about seeing the big picture. So hopefully now you do know about your post 16 choices and how they fit with jobs and careers. In terms of managed careers, hopefully you've started to think about the pathways you want to do in the future, and you could tick both those off. If you've got time, or you could do this as a homework, you could give some feedback on Career Pilot and you might win a voucher. There's always a monthly prize draw. So the bottom of the homepage is a banner that moves. Get to the bit about giving feedback and you can complete our survey. It just takes a few minutes. And that might be something you just want to do in your home time. So well done everybody for all you've done today. Good luck with all your future plans and thanks for listening.